Hello guys, welcome to another video. In this video we will learn how we can create this splash screen. As you can see in the bottom side we have an indicator, and in the last page we have a button. If you click this button, application goes to main page. In this video we will learn how we can create this splash screen using movepager2 and indicator. Let's start the video. And yes, our project is ready. First of all, I want to add some implementation because we want to use indicator. I want to use this GitHub account. If you want to use this dot indicator, I will add a link below the description. Okay, we copied this link, and inside the Android Studio, go to with Gradle module with Gradle and paste here. And before the click sync, now I want to add one more thing. I want to use vbinding for this project. Okay, now we can click sync now. And now we can keep going to design our main activity. I want to delete this text view. I want to add a one movepager2 match parents 0dp. I want to use 8% 0.8, and okay, we can close now. And we have to add some ID. And we can close this icon for constraint. And now we can write our indicator dots indicator wrap contents, and I want to add one more ID indicator. And we are in the constraint layout. We can drag using this dots icon left and right sides. And okay, our activity main is ready first of all. And now we have to create our fragments. For this, I want to create one more package. This package name will be fragments. Inside this package, we will create a blank fragment, and our fragment name will be first fragments. As usual, we don't need all these codes. We can delete. And yes, our fragments are ready, and now we have to create an adapter because we will use a movepager, and if you want to use movepager, you will need an adapter. Now we are going to create our adapter class, movepager adapter, and extends fragment state adapter. And we have three constructors. First constructor fragment manager, and second constructor will be life cycle. And of course we have to add inside our extend class fragments manager and life cycle. And as you can see, we have an error. If you click this lambda icon and then you can choose the implement members. We have to add three function. Inside this function we will return 3 because we have 3 fragments. And inside the create fragment function we will use when position, but we will add return when. And in 0 position we want to use our first fragments, and in 1 position we want to use our second fragments, and 2 position we want to use our third fragments. And of course we want to add else just fragments. And okay, our adapter is ready. We can keep going to add some code inside our main activity. First I want to create our binding objects. And yes, our binding object is ready. We can use binding for get IDs. First of all, I want to create one adapter object from viewPager adapter. Support fragment manager and lifecycle. And now we have to connect our viewPager to adapter. For do this, binding dots viewPager2.adapter equals to adapter. And we want to use this indicator. If you want to use this indicator in your project, you have to connect this indicator to your viewPager. For this, binding dots indicator dot sets viewPager2 and binding dots viewPager2. Okay, our main activity class is ready, but as you can see inside the third fragment we have a button, but we didn't write any code about this button. And now before the adding button, I want to change our fragments layout. Inside the first fragment I want to add one more background. These backgrounds will G, and I prepared this this picture in before. And second fragment we can add some image. And yes, if you want, let's look our application for now. And yes, our application looks like this, but we have to change this indicator background color, and also we have to add a button inside the third fragment. Okay, let's do this. Inside the third fragment I want to change this frame layout, not frame layout, it will be constraint layout, and I want to add one more button. Wrap content, but I don't want to use this button. I want to use a compact button, and we have to add some ID in this button, and our text will be go to panel. If you want your button background color will be translate, you can use this code, add attribute select table item backgrounds. We can close now and drag and drop the bottom sides and add some constraints. Okay, and now one more thing, we have to create one more activity, because we want to click this button, and after the clicking our application goes to another activity. For this we will create a blank activity. Activity name will be second activity. And inside this second activity we want to add one more text view. Content, content, text, main page, and style will be bold, and text size will be 26 sp, and also color black. Okay, right click, center horizontally, center and vertically. If you want, you can use these properties: right click, center horizontally and vertically. Okay, and now we have to write some code inside our third fragment, because let's start over our application. I want to show you. If you look our application, there is a button inside this third fragment, but when I try to click, nothing happens. We have to go to main page. But before do this, I want to change our indicator background color. And as I said before, we will use binding. First of all, we have to create our binding object. Fragment third binding equals to null, and private val binding equals to get, fragment binding get equals to binding. And now we can delete these two lines. Binding equals to fragment third binding dot inflator dot container dot false, and return. And now we can catch our button ID using binding dot button dot set on click listener. I want to create intent is at third fragment dot require context, and second activity equals to Java class, and of course start activity intent. Okay, our project is ready. Let's click again to run. And yes guys, our activity like this. Thanks for watching. See you next video.